Welcome to another anime podcast presented by Last Choice Network. I'm your host, Taylor Brown, and joining me is
Natalie Narvaja.
We will be hosting this podcast for Last Choice Network for the foreseeable future. Hopefully, everybody enjoys it. Today we are going to be talking about our first animes that really got us into anime, like what brought us to the plate and really drew us into what we like about anime and everything. Mine are probably going to be relatively simple because I started really young, so mine are probably going to be something like I Saw in Toonami. Natalie, do you what?
Yeah, so mine definitely, I started in middle school and I had a friend who got me into it. And what it turned out to be, sorry, I have like a little story with mine, is so it was Oran High School Host Club. And we basically had a competition for who could finish it first. So I watched it as fast as I could. Like I consumed it really quickly because there was no like prize or anything. We just like wanted to see who could finish it first. And I did win. And that is what really got me into anime. Like I was like, wow, I actually really enjoy this. It's funny. It's cute. I like the plot. And then I started watching, I feel like there's like an era like in the 2010s kind of anime, so like Black Butler and Full Metal Alchemist, those all kind of fell into my category of like my first animes. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think my first anime actually was probably something like it. I want to say it was Inuyasha or Yu Yu Hakusho, something that was available to me with what I had at the time. But
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed like watching them because the stories that they had compared to what regular cartoons were just it wasn't the same. Like these actually were full drawn out like stories and that developed characters and developed the liking of the characters where cartoon's a cartoon. It runs for 20 minutes and it's just that. There's not
Mm-hmm.
much to it.
Yes. Yeah,
So
it's not always a linear story, right? Yeah.
mhm. So where I think what really drew me into it was like the really just character progression mainly because I've always enjoyed movies that really draw you into like a character and really you grow that attachment to them. And I think that's the biggest thing I like about animes.
Yeah, for sure. I know it's like funny that you like mention like getting attached to characters or like finding it much more easy to attach to like or like wanting to like follow like the development or like the character development of an anime character, because that's actually something that I learned about in my class was that a lot of Japanese anime focuses on like this whole like the character marketability. Like so they do that very much on purpose so that fans can continue to see like their favorite characters and like in the like they continue to like live on in this sort of way.
Yeah, I know the last episode you talked about how you didn't like those continuous animes. I've watched a lot of them, like I've watched Naruto, and I think Dragon Ball Z, which is now in Super, about to continue on past that. I've watched those. I do enjoy them, but like one of my favorite animes, it made it 2 seasons. 2 seasons is all it made it, and it's called Kenichi, the mightiest. I think it's World's Mightiest Disciple. Made it 2 seasons, and I've actually had to go find out if it had a manga because I wanted more of it. And I really liked it. And I wish they would continue it on. I wish someone would pick it up, but they probably won't. But the character development on that character throughout just the first 2 seasons was good. But then once I saw how they developed him through the manga, it was amazing, actually.
Yeah, I know I definitely felt the same way about Oran High School. I mean, of course at this point it's like, yeah, it's never coming back. It left off on a cliffhanger. I just have to accept it. But whenever I was younger, I was like, oh man, like when is there going to be a season 2? Like is there any more? Um but at this point, you know, I just got to accept that it's not coming back.
Yeah, it's really sad to see like a good anime go like that, especially if they drop it on like something where it really could be continued and then they just no more. Because there's been definitely some seasonal animes that have done that, and you're hoping that they were popular enough that the next time that season rolls around that it comes back. But sometimes those animes just weren't popular enough, so they're gone. And it
Yeah.
hurts.
I have a question. What was your first anime movie?
First animated movie was
Yeah.
actually Princess Mononoke.
Uh-huh.
I love that movie. I've probably watched it 100 times.
Oh yeah. I hadn't seen Princess Mononoke until I think 2 years ago. Whenever I was like, well, I have to watch it. It like finally got to me. I was like, I have to watch it now. And I did. I also really loved it. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like Studio Ghibli and Miyazaki are very much staples in the anime community, especially when it comes to film, or like big productions. My first one was Spirited Away. Um,
Another super
yeah,
good.
yeah, and I remember that whenever I watched it and I was, very young, I really enjoyed it. It was my grandma who bought it for me, or bought it for me to like watch. But it's funny because she's like a very religious woman. So once she like found out that it was like about the spirits like entering the spirit world, she was like, "You can't watch that anymore." So then, it mysteriously disappeared. But I definitely never forgot about it because I always asked her like, "I want to watch it again," and she'd be like, "No, I don't know where it went."
Yeah, the first time I saw Princess Mononoke, I was probably 14 or 15, and just scrolling through, I think it showed up on one of like the movie channels and I caught like the very end of it. And I was like, wow, I like that. So I went and found it and actually watched all the way through it. And the story arc to that one's really good. And
Mhm.
I think I've just continued to watch it every time I catch it. I watch it, and heck, I've even gone. I just want to watch that movie and go watch it. Like
Yeah.
Rachel, actually, my girlfriend really loves Howl's Moving Castle, and
That's another good one.
she watches it all the time. Loves that movie. Are there any like real big animes that you see now that really relate back to like your first anime that really wants you to keep going into that same kind of genre that you've really enjoyed right now?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that with Orion, it is very much like slice of life, like shoujo, and I do definitely still like enjoy that aspect. I love a high school rom-com. I love a high school rom-com anime. I really do. Sometimes like that's all you need to like say to get me to watch it. It could be like the most basic plot like Toradora, where it's like just one season of two high schoolers falling in love. Like but I love it. I eat it up. I really do. Um but um yeah, I would say that this definitely keeps me coming back. Even if it is like seems like it's playing out like the same thing over and over again. Um there are definitely points where they I think are able to like make fun of it even, like to the point like where it's just like the point of like comedy and satire that like it's happening again.
Yeah, there's definitely been some animes that have kind of played on that too that aren't shojo, but they're in the shonen, but they still kind of tease it being a slice of life, but they're not really. They're more action, but they still have that aspect that like I think it's a irregular at a magic high school. I think it's what it's called. I've watched it probably like 4 or 5 times now, and it teases at having the aspects of like the high school, but then it's really not. But it plays on those little bits here and there. So there are some in showing that play at that, but they're not. You can tell that that's not what they're actually based around. I'd have to say like animes now that really relate back to what I used to watch. I don't watch as much anymore because I've started becoming accustomed to watching more like I still watch some more mainstream, but I really like watching shows that are kind of on the obscure side. It's just I don't know why. I
That's
just like
fair.
them.
Yeah, someone's got to watch him.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back on Orin again, real quick. Since then, like, what other genres have you really picked up on that you kind of like outside of like the slice of life?
I do. There are some show in that I do enjoy. Like I said, I do like. I did like Full Metal Alchemist a lot. I like Dorohedoro, which I really like Dorohedoro. Also, I also like actually one of my favorite animes is actually Devilman Crybaby, the Netflix one. I really like that one. And I've definitely watched it several times as well, which is I guess you could say it's even more into like a horror genre. I sometimes like a mech anime. I'm a little bit the mech animes are a little hit or miss with me. Some of them I like, some of them I don't. Um, yeah.
Speaking of mech animes, I'm pretty sure I've seen every version of Gundam that there is.
hmm
And I think I've watched them all to the fullest.
Yeah, I've only seen one Gundam movie and I can't even remember which one it is now. Evangelion is like the most classic, right? Most like
Oh yeah.
yeah, like genre defining like Gundam that there is. Or sorry, mech anime that there is. And there was one that was like recently on Netflix called Kurumakuro, which took like the mech and like kind of merged it with the high school like comedy, and I really liked that one too.
You also said something about Devilman, and you saw the one on Netflix, but did you ever go look at any of the old Devilman animes?
No, I know that the old ones are also on Netflix, but I have not looked at them.
They're I will say their art style is definitely different,
Yes, yes.
but they're not terrible. But they're not Crybaby. They're just not. They're
hmm
definitely their own thing. They're still for what they are. They're good. It's just I didn't enjoy them as much as Crybaby.
hmm
Some of the other things I've kind of picked up on as I've been watching different animes. I've seen these like people enjoy like harem animes or like the different genres and shonen, but I've never really got into them. They just kind of seem a little too unrealistic and silly. So I
hmm
guess that's why I differ from some of the other people that like some of the like more into like that type of anime. Really,
hmm
like main storyline development of a character rather than hey, let's just give you a bunch of fan service and hope you like it. It's just
Yeah.
like I don't understand why people really like those, but that's kind of where I sit, where I'd actually like the story of it and not I don't want to see just fan service after fan service after fan service
hmm
just to
hmm
try to keep people attached to it. I think High School DxD is like really bad for that, and people like that. I'm not gonna hate people that like it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be one of those people that
Yeah.
watch.
I think whenever I think of like animes with a lot of fan service content, I can't imagine it not being satirical at this point. I don't know, like I just think it's just funny. Like I don't take it too seriously, I guess. I just think it's like it's it's makes me laugh.
Yeah. It like some parts of like High School DxD like are real funny because I I have watched through it, but some of it could be done without because there was the development of a character in it, but like hey, he gets stronger because he thinks that something's gonna happen to the girl's bust size, so it increases his power.
hmm
Like that's funny, but like just the constant hey half naked person
Yeah.
could be done without. But something like fan service where it's something like that, where it's like it quick clips and it uses it or something to build on like what's going on at that point in time. Yeah, that's fine. Some of it's funny and it works, and some of it to me just it seems like they're doing a little too much. Other things outside of that in anime that really draw me into it. So I think after I watched the first couple on Toonami and everything, and then I think I picked up on Kenichi, and then I kind of was like, I had kind of this time period where I didn't really get to watch a lot of it, but I wanted to see more of it. And then when I finally did, I think I indulged too much because I think I cleared out Crunchyroll's most popular at least once in my
Uh-huh.
life. That's been a big thing, but I'm always been a real big fan of the art style too. So like how
Mhm.
you have the real big, bright, vibrant colors and a lot of things, and then they can
Mhm.
go from that to just a super dark tone. I
Yeah.
one of them is I think it was it something Battlegrounds. I can't think of the name of the anime right now. It's been a while since I've watched it, probably like 3 or 4 years, but it was real vibrant and colorful, but the whole story had this kind of depressing feel to it because he was doing it to like help out his sister or something, and but he's trapped on the other side. It was kind of like real dark and cynical, but it was real bright and
Mhm.
colorful at the same time.
Yes.
I enjoyed it. It I don't know why it's Blood Blockade Battlegrounds is what it's called.
Mhm.
I it is just came to me. I really enjoyed that anime. That was a good one, just because it had this overtone over that's kind of like overbearing pressure on you, and then it was the artwork and color design of it was really good. So, has there been anything else like that that you've seen here in the past, I don't know, 3 4 years that has really drawn your attention to, like a specific anime, like art style wise, or like the feel of like the story that was on it?
The actually the artist that does Devilman Crybaby, I'm forgetting his name now. Miyasa? I think it's Miyasa. Oh no, I can't remember. But all of his animes have a very unique and distinct style. They're all very the way that he plays with shapes is very unique. And I think it always really fits the tone that he's going for, which is usually something that's really surreal and sometimes like lighthearted. I know you maybe can't imagine that with Devilman, but he does make some really like lighthearted things too. And the like flowiness of the shapes that he can create really like add to that tone. Really appreciate that.
All right, I think that's just about gonna wrap us up here on this episode
Yeah.
today. So I hope everybody will come back and join us next time. We are another anime podcast on Last Choice, presented by Last Choice Network. You can find us on Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast, Spotify. Who knows with our crazy creator in the background back there. You can find me on Instagram at Master5Hados. I haven't posted in a while, but I'll try to start keeping up to date and giving you updates on the podcast and anything else that's going on in the gaming community or Last Choice Network.